Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Xbox and Box, an Xbox podcast. My name is Potato Chief, and I'm with my good friend Alice. How are you, Alice?
Um, what did I miss?
You disappeared. You gone again. You there? Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Not much. It's been quite. Well, I say not much. I'm looking at our schedule for the episode today, and it's probably the most packed episode we've ever done on this channel, even though it feels like it's a dead time of year. It feels like there should be no news, but yet there is still a ton of news to get through. And I've not even mentioned stuff like Phil Spencer confirming for the 200th time that Call of Duty is going to be on PlayStation. That's not even in the news. Or the corrupt guy who said that he works for the EU, who said that we're going to make sure the PlayStation still gets Call of Duty. That's not in the news either. And yet we still got a ton of news to get through.
Yeah, this is just crazy. But I think today is just like, oh, we just woke up, procrastinated so much.
Yeah.
Like, we gone to bed after like 3 a.m. and just like been sleeping until lunch. And then it's just like, I just don't know. Like, what's the point of this day? Like, we just ended up procrastinating, playing games. And for me, I procrastinate so much by my maladaptive daydreaming. Been overthinking and daydreaming too. To all the listeners out there, can you guess which big game that we've been playing so much that is one of the recent releases on the Game Pass?
Yeah.
Or it's actually not on the Game Pass, but
it is on Game Pass, yeah.
Oh, okay. But it's so big, it's so talked about, and it ended up keeping us awake past 3 o'clock in the morning. Can you guess what it is?
Here's a clue. It's the background of my green screen as well. So if you've played the game, you might know what we're talking about. We were both... I didn't get to bed till like 4 o'clock last night. This is the latest we've ever recorded this podcast. We usually record it about midday. And then it's getting later and later each week, it seems like. It was 4 o'clock last week. This week it's nearly 6 o'clock in the evening, which is late for this podcast. Like, we usually try to record it in the daytime, but it's pitch black outside. We're both up super late playing video games. So time's up, guys. You've had your time to guess what game we were talking about. Shall we talk about it?
Yes. The game that we've been playing to death is Vampire Survivors.
Ooh, Vampire Survivors. Game of the year. Apart from Elden Ring.
If you agree with it, or you disagree with it, let us know in the comments below. But
it's so good. It's such a good game. Oh my god.
So basically... Basically, the story is that I first heard of this game on the Inquisition series because James Stephanie Sterling has been writing lore for the game, and they keep mentioning the bits of the game with those rant videos and everything.
Yeah.
And then it's like, that's an interesting game maker game. But it wasn't until you talked about Vampire Survivors and you described it as some kind of twin stick shooter, except the character fires automatically. Is this the good description of it?
It's hard to explain this game. It is like dopamine the game. It's like all the bad things you get from like loot boxes and all that, but it's free. It's not predatory. It's like, ooh, look what you've unlocked. You've unlocked this. You've unlocked this. You've unlocked this. Ooh, you've killed a load of things. It's like, ooh. Like, stuff. It's like, ooh, shiny. It's like so addictive. It's ridiculous. It's like, so that's probably the best way you could describe it. You're a vampire. Like, you basically look like a Castlevania character, like a sprite, a little image. And you walk around the screen, and your character just fires in different directions, depending on what ability you've got. And then you stack your abilities, and then you unlock new abilities. So then the screen just there's just missiles firing off you in different directions, and then more and more enemies appear. So literally, you have a screen full of like 200 enemies, and your character just killing them all instantly. It's insane. It's brilliant though. It's like so basic. Like, me and Alice both did games design at university. I think
Yes.
me and Alice could have made this game in like a week in Game Maker, but it's so well done. And I don't want to. I feel like I'm being harsh and being disrespectful. It's a really good game, really well made, and it's like I'm just disappointed in myself that I didn't think of it. It's so simple yet brilliant. It's fantastic. I love this game. If you haven't played Vampire Survivors, download it. It's only a gig. It's on Game Pass. Play it. Trust me. You might look at it and go, "That looks a bit weird," but once you played it, you'll get addicted. It is one of the most addictive games I've ever played. I think I'm addicted to it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it will take over your life. Like
It does.
if you've been spending hours and doing cooking, by the time you play this game, you'll end up getting ready meals instead because you won't have a lot of time to cook your own meals.
Well, last night it's basically like because me and Alice have been playing a lot of games online recently, like about midnight. And last night I was like, I came back from shopping at 9:00, put Vampire Survivors on, and then I was like, oh, and then the next thing I knew it was midnight. I'm like, oh, Alice, did you want to still play some games? I kind of lost track. Where's my night gone?
Yeah, so we still managed to play co-op together, but it's not Halo co-op. It's not like Grounded, because we've been playing Grounded and we will get to it soon. But we did some Halo, and for the first time, me and Lewis just popped up on Halo multiplayer on one of the matchmaking playlists. So me and the Chief just went in and like played a bunch of Fiesta. But like at the moment, Halo Infinite is getting really more popular because there's the Forge mode, and I see lots of videos that says like people having so much fun with Forge, because I've been seeing lots of maps that are like really creative, has some really interesting game modes. I've been watching Blitz and Sean W. That I think some of the YouTubers are like usually negative about Halo Infinite, but even the most negative ones are having a huge blast with Forge in custom games, and that's really says a lot about Forge. It's more received than I expected. And it just means Halo Forge is back. Yeah. So it's brilliant.
I mean, so we've had Vampire Survivors, Grounded, we've been playing a lot of. Halo Infinite's got the winter update, which we've been playing a lot of. We've also there's 2 Xbox exclusives that have come out this week, and like I've not got enough time to play everything, and it's like I think we can safely say we're the only Xbox podcast who are not playing God of War Ragnarok. Literally every Xbox podcast I've listened to has gone, well, I'm playing God of War Ragnarok at the moment. You know, it's an Xbox podcast. It's like, well, I'm literally not playing it. I have a PS5. It's plugged in. But it's like, I don't want to spend 70 quid on a game that is basically a slight improvement on a game I already played. God of War 2018. It's like, everyone says it's the same game, but better, or like the same game with like slightly new mechanics and better graphics. It's like, cool, I just played God of War 2018 like about 3 months ago. I'm not really in the mood to play it again, so I'm like we got as I said, Vampire Survivors, Grounded, Halo, Pentiment, Somerville. There's loads of games to play on Xbox at the moment, so I'm quite happy. And then Pokemon's coming out next week on
that's
on
why,
Switch.
because
it's like, whoa, too much to play.
I think that by the time this podcast comes over on, let's say, YouTube tomorrow, the Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet will be arriving the next day on the 18th. But
it's true.
By the time it comes out, it'll be like, I'm not sure if we're ready to do that. And just go back to playing Vampire Survivors.
I could probably load up Pokemon and be like, oh, I can't wait to play Pokemon. I'll have one game of Vampire Survivors, and then I'll be on there all night, like, oh no! What am I doing with my evening? It's one of those games. I've not been obsessed with the game this much since Elden Ring. And it's so good. Like, I could play it for 4 or 5 hours and not even realise. My dog's by there. She's coughing up a fur ball, by the way, if you're wondering what that noise is in the background. You okay, doggy?
I think we...
Yes, you are.
I think we definitely have to say a lot of bits about it, because I know I'm like going way ahead of you and
No, go ahead.
spent like less hours on it because the idea is just really interesting because
Yeah.
the game it's just like it's really challenging. You can die a lot because it's a kind of game like a bit like Skyforce Reloaded or something like that, where you play the game, you die, but you get enough credits to boost your stats,
Yeah.
and it might make the game easier. And this is typically with a lot of mobile games. And you just think Vampire Survivors looks better on the mobile phone thing, but the
Yeah.
trouble is, this is so like more respected with the screen size that
Yeah.
it's just it's best played on the PC or console because it always has to be widescreen. And if
Yeah.
you play the game on like different mobile phones, you have to deal with the small screen size, and it really varies a lot.
Yeah,
So
I haven't tried it on mobile yet. I want to try it on mobile though. I haven't tried it yet, but I would like to try it on mobile.
wait a minute, is it out on mobile? That Vampire
No,
Survivors?
it's on. You can get it on Steam Deck, and you can also stream it on the via XCloud. I might try it on XCloud, see how that turns out, and see how I'll let you guys know if it's a decent way of playing it. It's all about responsiveness and stuff, though, so maybe not the best place to play it. I don't know.
I'm just gonna check that. Yeah, you can actually get Vampire Survivors on Android right now.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, well that's cool. I might even do that. When it comes, if it comes to Switch, I might buy it. And this game is so good. It's like one of my favorite indie games of the last 3 or 4 years, I would say. So up there. I could talk about Vampire Survivors all day. I really could. It's so good. Go on, sorry.
Well, I think it just appears as if it's only on exclusive to Android at the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, just give this a try and let us know. But I would have to say that as you learn the strategies and like how you beat bosses, you just eventually like know which buttons you can go for. Like when you unlock the map later in the game, which is on like the 3rd level, you'll get this map that shows you whether you can get some items, and that's where you can get some unlocks. But at the same time, you have to go through the map in order to collect some additional items. That if you collect all the 6 items for the defense buffs, if you get any additional ones, you get more of them, which is cool. But I found that in order to get to these extra items, you have to travel at the very long distance on the map.
Yeah.
And you just end up like not getting all the crystals, which is why when you boost up the stats and you play the game, you have to like most of the time you have to like not go around too much because you missed out on the crystals to boost your levels. And once you like boosted the stats and get the curse items that makes that gives you more enemies, you just end up like making it easier for you to like get more enemies, get more experience, and you get really more powerful within the first 10 minutes of the game. And I think it's just what you end up with. But you still have to strategize on like when you move, make sure you don't get hit by the enemies too much. Like if there's too much enemies, you won't move much. Otherwise, you get killed off real quickly.
I mean, so you can pick between. There's multiple different characters you can pick between. All have a different power each. And the game was really, as you said, you start off slow. It's like there's more like 3 or 4 enemies at a time or whatever. And you kill them off, but you can level up so fast that it just gets crazy and hectic super quickly. And what you want to do is you want to combine. There's like a list on the game. You can go the Grimoire, I think it is, and it gives you like if you have this item and this item and you max both of them out, you will lock a special item. So you want to try to lock a load of special items. The special items are even more badass, some even more powerful, and it's just one of those games you just keep stacking, and it's just you can have like 6 different weapons doing different things at the same time, killing off like the entire map, and then it gets to a point where you're unstoppable, and then they'll bring out the Grim Reaper, which is an unstoppable. Well, pretty much unstoppable CPU that comes and kills you, but it is a point where you can't. You literally think, okay, you're too powerful now. We're just gonna kill you. But
well, I can say that there are achievements where you have to play the game for 31 minutes, and you need to unlock the Grandmaster ability, which lets you get perks on the game, and you
Yeah.
can get random perks if you collect more of them.
Yeah.
So just got them. I got some extra revives.
Yeah.
And when I just get killed by the Reaper on the game end, I got so many revives that I ended up reviving myself. Tried to kill the Reaper or stop the Reaper with the clock thing or the fire spray, but even with those things, you just still cannot stop the Reaper. And I'm like, I'm just trying to figure out, like, how'd you get to the 31 minute? Because even with those revives, I can only last for about 13 seconds after.
I know, it's ridiculous. And they're too fast as well. They catch up to you really quickly. There's got to be a way of killing the Reapers. I have to look into that. So yeah, I was going to ask you about that because I've only just unlocked that. So there's Randomo, I can't remember what it's called now, but it's basically like playing cards. Like they change your buffs, I think. Is that right? I don't know how that works. I've not actually used them properly.
Well, I don't know. It's just I'm looking up the strategy how you do that, and it just seems as if you can get certain characters, getting certain arcanas in order to like have a better chances of like getting rid of death, and you can actually kill one. So I think it's just more luck based in order to do that. But you have to do this for every area you unlock.
Wow. So yeah, I mean, so this game is almost a bit like Geometry Wars. Is probably a good way of putting it as well. Have you played Geometry Wars?
Yes.
I mean,
Only better because every time you finish it off, it will make you start from the beginning every single time, except you have more variety of enemies.
So yeah, I'm enjoying this a lot. I think we've literally talked about Vampire Survivors for about 20 minutes now. I think we probably I want to keep talking about it, but I think we'll probably move on to the news in a second.
Well,
we've
that's
also...
two things really, because I mean, there's loads of characters with it, and there's a really neat gloss. There's a bestiary where you just like you beat enemies and you unlock characters.
Yeah.
And there's a sassy witch character that's just really good because it says that she was born as a mage and then like and decides to become a sassy witch and hopes to get others to be like sassy witches.
Okay.
Like, yeah, nice transcoded character.
Okay.
But there's like loads of characters, and you unlock Giovanna, which she has a bunch of cats that you have to avoid in order to get scratched. But sometimes they slash characters, and then you just like go into cat fights. But when you get the stone mask, once you get the stone mask and you level up the cats, you unlock this evolved weapon, because in the game you get combinations of items or weapons that you can unlock evolved forms of the weapons, and it's just like, wow, cool. But if you have a stone mask and you level up the cat weapon so much, it'll turn into eyeballs that sometimes like drop gold, but you have eyeballs going around. It's just like insane.
Yeah, it's just a lot. I'm enjoying it a lot. It's a really complicated game to explain to people. Like they probably don't know what. Like I played it, and I'm still a bit confused about what we were saying just then. But it is one of those things. It's you've got to play it. Just play it. Download it. Trust me, it's a lot of fun.
Well, I think I should mention that. Speaking of characters, you have loads of characters, and I think I can instantly tell your favorite character based on the name alone. Yeah. And do you know what it is?
I chose Poe, the Potato Man.
Because you love garlic as the weapon.
Garlic was I used to use him. I've been using different characters now, but yeah, garlic is when you first start the game. You want to have garlic as your weapon of choice because it just surrounds you at 360 degrees, so nothing can get too close to you. But the later on you get in the game, the more you realise you don't really need that. But like that to start off with, I think is a good power to have as garlic while you're learning the ropes. So that's my recommendation. I would say is try and get garlic first as your first weapon, and just play the game and enjoy it. And the more you play it, the more you'll unlock new stuff and figure out how to do it better. But garlic is a good start-off weapon for sure.
I would say this is definitely like it's still my favorite weapon, and I'd love to have that because as soon as you get a hot item that lets you like recover health every second, if you combine that with a garlic, then once you level up the garlic, it will turn into Soul Eater. It
Yeah,
just
you can
reminds me of this anime.
yeah, it heals you. So you have a 360-degree attack. So if anything gets close to you, it also heals you when you hit them. So it's almost impossible to
Yes.
die when you got it, which is pretty badass. I quite
Well,
like.
there's some enemies that still broke through it, and so it's not exactly OP. Like when I put on hyper mode, when I put hyper mode and have all those buffs that will like make it harder to you have a lot more enemies in. When I
Yeah.
was in the library, it's like, oh, I just got the Soul Eater and all those evolved weapons, and been collecting a lot of crystals. But even so, you still have a hag, the final boss character of the library. She just gets over to you, and just like you just couldn't believe that she goes so fast, like bypasses your weapons and like
Yeah.
kills you instantly if you don't know how to like escape and make sure you didn't get close to her. It's like
Yeah,
crazy.
it's one of those games we could talk about. As I said, we could talk about it all day. I'm really enjoying it, but I think we should probably move on because we're going to be here all day. Otherwise.
One last
Oh,
thing.
okay.
Sorry, I mean, I have a habit of like going into tangents, but I
Yeah.
swear this is the last one because
Okay.
you know there's like additional challenges and like there's one you kill the plants.
Yeah.
I got the one that's the Red Moon stage, and I got into it where you just burst the ports for gold and you kill the enemies there. You get all those tools at first, but it's slow to collect the crystals and get the weapons there. But
Yeah.
as you go through the stage, you notice there's lots of eyeballs going around and you try to get rid of the character, but then suddenly you just transported to another stage. And it's really hard because you only have your starting weapon and you have to go through the hallway before the enemies kill you off. And it's like really difficult. But once I get into a certain character that has fast speed and be able to do a good weapon thing. Once I
Yeah.
get to this whole thing, I just found out, oh, got across and clears the enemies out, and there's a death wall around. But then you just gave this hidden passage, and once you get to this special item, there's like, oh, there's pair hands clapping and get you closer to this strange item. And then the sensitivity warning's got flipped text, like, what? And that's how I got the yellow sign, which lets you see hidden items.
Oh right. Okay.
It's
Fair
just
enough. I
so
didn't know that.
weird.
I need to. I haven't unlocked the hidden item thing. I'll have to look into that. Yeah. I mean, spoilers. Spoiler what's going on in the game. I know. Yeah. So we've also been playing Grounded. We like Grounded. It's such a good game. One of my game of the years as well. We finally figured out how to kill wolf spiders. We just basically farming them almost
Cheese
at this
them.
point. Yeah, we know how to cheese them now. We get them trapped and just keep firing arrows at them. I got a crossbow now. You've got like poison bow and arrow. We done all like we gotta explore the lake next. That's like our next thing. But yeah, we also been building giant
Zip
zip
lines.
lines. Yeah,
Yeah, because that when as soon as we did the hedge lab, we got like additional unlocks, and one of them is zip line.
Yeah.
So we just built the platform by the house in the middle of the map, got into like lots of stories, and then we just got zip lines. So
Yeah.
we got a zip line that leads to the oak lab, very useful, and we got the zip line that goes over to the hedge, so we can get more berries. But when I just got the zip line being built up on the platform near to the picnic table, you just like fiddle with the ladders because you want to move them, and then
Yeah.
destroy the top with the zip line. So we have to go through that again.
It was like a multi-story. You built like a multi-story building for zip lines, and I moved the ladder like an inch to the left. And for some reason, the ladder was a load-bearing ladder. Essentially, as soon as I moved the ladder, the entire top floor just collapsed on top of me. I'm like, well, fuck. I'm like, no. So now I'm like reinforcing everything. So I like because like there was a
Yes.
point where as if like a spider or like a ladybug or something destroyed the bottom of our staircase, the whole thing would come down. So I've made sure that we got like multiple towers holding it up now. Because it's not like Minecraft, you can't have stuff that defies gravity. It has to have some kind of base to it.
Scaffolding.
It has to have some
Yeah,
kind of
support.
scaffolding, yeah, or it's just gonna fall apart. But the fact that it was a load-bearing ladder is just like ridiculous. I literally moved the ladder an inch to the left, and then the whole top floor just fell. I'm like, no!
Yeah.
How has that happened? That's ridiculous. Oh my god.
Now, speaking about the wolf spiders, I found out from the Speed 1 video on killing the wolf spider, and I found out that in an oak lab, there's 1 or 2 leaves that you can trap wolf spiders in. And basically, they just go in the defensive state, and they just poke their legs through, so you can just hit their legs and then kill them. And that's how I've been, like, farming the poison fangs and everything, just to not only build your weapons and armor, but you also, like, have enough resources to repair your weapons. And I think that's cool. Also, we can also find wolf spiders along the map, and sometimes they hide in the cave or some, like, holes. Yeah. So I found out that once I get the insect axe and just got some more stems, we built a scaffolding around so the wolf spiders won't escape and get trapped. So you just hit the legs and then you get more items. It's just like wolf spiders are just... I mean, it's very easy to cheese, but without the cheesing, there's still pain in the ass. Like, if you don't know how to perfect block the wolf spider attacks, they will kill you instantly.
Oh, yeah. Wolf spiders, bees, stink beetles, all of them are still a pain in the ass to kill, even with the best weapons that we got. We've got like level 2 gear, level 2 items, and we're still struggling to kill them. We got like spider dagger, which is like poisonous dagger. So we just you can swipe really fast and just lower their health, but they still kill us pretty quickly.
I think definitely the next thing we need to like. Because we can build a house on one of the lily pads around the pond, and I think we should be focusing on that. So we could do that tonight. But there's also like the Halo co-op to deal with as well. But I just think
Vampire Survivors.
Yes, that's right. But no co-op.
Yeah,
that is unless we can like talk in Discord and like grind the fuck out of like Vampire Survivors.
So good. I can't help myself. But yeah, are you guys playing Grounded? Let us know in the comments below. Are you playing Grounded? Are you playing Vampire Survivors? Are you playing Halo? Or are you playing God of War? Boo. You traitor. You're listening to an Xbox podcast. How dare you play God of War? Even though I own a PS5.
Actually, well, as soon as we finish the podcast, I'll then like schedule a poll that tells you which of the games we mentioned that we can like that we're still playing.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, just imagine the bias when as soon as we put the God of War stuff, it'll be like, everyone votes for it. So should we just add that as an option or not?
Yeah, come on, might as well. I'm not playing it. I'm getting it for Christmas probably, but I'm not paying £70 for it at this moment in time. Especially because I'm not in the mood for it. I'm not in the mood to play it. I'll explain later when we get to the award ceremonies my beef when it comes to God of War. So look forward to that. That's gonna be fun.
I noticed there's some like we did some polls and at the moment we've got the ability to make community polls there. We don't know about Twitter, but I can tell on YouTube that we did a tier list of Halo games, and we originally asked for people which is better, which is Halo 3 or Halo Reach. But when I put Halo 3 Reach and Infinite in, 2 people voted for Halo Infinite above Halo 3. Yeah.
On Twitter, the Halo 3 won by a landslide. It was like 80%.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was like 80% or something. I can't remember the exact result now. It was like 80%. So, yeah.
Then we also did the poll that we have Xbox the Box looking forward to new Pokemon games, because this is non-Xbox related, and you can tell the results, because there's only one vote for Violet, no votes for Scarlet, or neither of these hate Pokemon games. But
I voted
when someone came in, they just voted for Xbox Please out of 3 out of 4 votes.
Oh,
and you can tell, no, I don't want Pokemon, I just want Xbox Pokemon.
I want Xbox news. You're an Xbox channel. Why are you talking about Pokemon? Like, I get that. I understand that. Like, I'm just slagging people off for talking about God of War. We're talking about Pokemon, so it's like I'm a bit of a hypocrite, innit? So shall we move on to the news?
Sure. I'm just typing the full
news. First news story: happy birthday to Xbox. The Xbox
Hey,
Series X is 2 years old 5 days ago, so it's not like we missed the birthday by a little bit, but 2 years it's
X.
been on the market. What do you think about that? Is that if it doesn't feel like it's been 2 years, it feels like I've just got it. It still feels like it's brand new to me. It's weird. What do you think?
Yeah, so I think it's only like Xbox Series S is just starting, but now you can just buy it anywhere
Yeah,
because with PlayStation 5, it's still like out of stock on some of the stores, and it's just like crazy. Even with this price hike and everything there, it's just I still see people playing on the PlayStation 5, and it's like, really?
yeah,
Because I found the Xbox Series X to be really much nicer to get, and I sided with Xbox
yeah. Me too.
because I just don't really have the best experience with PlayStation 4, but Xbox is just like they pretty much did the online stuff very well and it's really good there. But I think it's people like I think one of the friends I've spoken to, he said that he went for the PlayStation 5 because sometimes the Xbox exclusives you can get them on the PC.
I
So
suppose.
why
Yeah,
get the Xbox if you can just get the PlayStation 5? To me, I think the PlayStation 5 is just too big to fit under the TV.
it is pretty
Either
big.
way, you're just to be buying it for exclusives at this rate.
I mean, that's the reason I bought it. I mainly bought it for Spider-Man 2, which isn't out for another year. I said this to you the other day. I literally turned my PlayStation 5 on for the first time in like a month. Checked what was on PlayStation Plus, like essentials. Like what's this month's free games. Added them to my collection, and I was like, oh, I'm bored now. Turned it off and went back on the Xbox. I play my Xbox every single day, whereas the PS5, I'm so bored of it. I don't know. I'm not. I'm kind of bored of third person action adventure games with like cinematic plots, with like lots of lots of quick time events. You know what I mean? I'm not. I'm kind of bored of that now. I kind of like a bit of variety in my gameplay. Like it might sound like sacrilege, but I'd rather play Vampire Survivors than play God of War Ragnarok at this moment in time. I'm kind of third person action adventure game out. I'm kind of burnt out on it. It's like this. There's not a variety on PlayStation. I don't like the lack of variety. I know I'm gonna get a lot of shit in the comments for this probably, but I just don't. It's I'm bored of the PlayStation already. I barely used it. I'm already bored of it. It's just I got all these games on my PlayStation, and all of them are like third-person action adventure games. I'm like, but yeah, 2 years of Xbox. So let's try to move it to the more positive. So we've had two. So this is going to be the third holiday of the Xbox. First holiday we had Gears Tactics. That was like the only exclusive. Then last year we had Halo Infinite. We had Forza Horizon 5, Psychonauts 2. We had some decent stuff last year. And then this year we've kind of gone quiet again. We have Pentiment and we have Somerville and we got Higher Life. And Vampire Survivors. A lot of smaller titles. I was saying this to you yesterday. We were on the Discord chat. It's like going out for a meal and just having like tapas. Like loads of little, tapas, like lots of little meals. It's like, ooh, this is nice. Ooh, this is nice. This is nice. We've not got a big main course meal on Xbox this year. We haven't had like that big game that's gonna completely satisfy us. I love Grounded. I love Vampire Survivors. I'm really excited for Higher Life. I gotta play Somerville and Pentiment. They're all supposed to be really good games, and they're all a lot of fun. But we need a Starfield now. We need. It does feel like we are. It is a bit of a gaping gap in our lineup this year. Is the fact that Starfield got delayed. The Starfield, Redfall, Forza, Minecraft Legends, Wulong. We got a load of really big games coming out next year. Diablo 5. I mean, yeah. If the ABK deal gets done as well, we're going to have so much to play next year. It's been a bit of a quiet year, this one, year 2 of the Xbox. I'm hoping year 3 of the Xbox is going to be one of the greatest years in gaming history. I mean, at this moment in time, you look at the lineup, it seems like they have a good chance of pulling that off. If they got a couple of other games like a Avowed or Hellblade or something lined up, as well as what we already know, it's going to be an absolutely epic year in Xbox. One of the best years in
Yeah.
Xbox history. Maybe like 2007 was probably the best year in Xbox history with Halo 3 and Gears and Call of Duty and stuff like that. That'd probably be the best year, but I don't know. I'm rambling a bit. I'm sorry, but I'm just saying. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're in year 3 of this second birthday, third holiday season. Bit of a lackluster season this year, but I still love my Xbox. I still play it every day. I still got too much to play on it, even when people are saying there's nothing on Xbox. I've still got hundreds of games to play on it. So I'm like, how can you say there's no games on Xbox? Because I literally have lists and lists of games I want to play that are on Game Pass. I just guess people don't. There's a lot of people who don't like to try different things. I like variety. So it's like,
Yeah.
I like to play different genres and stuff. I don't know. I suppose if you only play third-person action adventure games, then yeah, it is a bit quiet this year on the Xbox. You got Plague Tale, and that's about it, really.
I have to butt in though because
No, go ahead.
I do have a backlog of games I've already purchased, so I don't really need Game Pass for any of it. But there's still so much stuff on Game Pass at the moment you can definitely play. So why play on any other platform when you got Game Pass?
Yeah.
So it's cool. But as you're saying, it's just like, yeah, I just feeling like the only problems I had in that age, like the Sign Labs controller is just like broke and got refunded when I sent it to customer service, which is a bit shame. But apart from that, the controller and the console are just working fine. It's just I think there were some blips with the Blu-ray player, but for the most part, it's just like you're fine with discs, but it's because of this glitches. I thought, I'm not sure I can rely on the disk drive. But then again, it's just like, just a basic system. But I just wondered if they would end up having a revised edition of it because Xbox 360 have this white brick that coughs up and die every time, but you get a really improved Xbox 360 Slim, which is perfect. But Xbox One came out, big chunk for console. They ended up as Xbox One S or X, and that's perfect enough for me.
Yeah.
So I just wondered that Xbox Series X and S, like, I might be interested to get Xbox Series S once I'm able to stream full time.
Yeah.
But then, do you reckon that Xbox may actually shrink the consoles in the future, just like the previous 2 generations?
Possibly. I don't think they're going to do a massive, I don't think we're going to get a Series X Pro. Like, I was literally watching a video of Colt Eastwood and Digital Foundry about 2-3 hours ago, when they were talking about how game developers now need to focus more on low-end consoles as well, because of the part shortages. So like there's stuff like Unreal Engine 5 will still run amazing on Series S. Like the Series S can still run really powerful games and still looks decent. So that we're not gonna have a point where we need to upgrade the consoles this generation. In theory, like we're probably going to be running off the Xbox Series X and PS5. We're not going to see the full potential of them for another 3 or 4 years, and we're not probably going to get a Pro version or anything like that until I think the next we might get like Slim. I think a PlayStation 5 Slim would be nice because it's so bloody big.
Yeah, I would definitely be waiting and see that because I think it's possible we can get that. But then the thing is, with the PlayStation 4, you can either get a slightly slimmer version of it, or you can just get a PlayStation 4 Pro. But I sold my PlayStation 4 and didn't buy another PlayStation 4 console since. So I don't know what Sony's doing, but I just don't really expect him to do anything with it. I think they did mention the Keystone once.
Yes.
And then Phil Spencer said it's just like, oh, we're not doing it anymore, that Keystone.
Yes.
Because I think this would have been the top solution for streaming, but now it's just like, oh, buy the Xbox Series S or X. how about you get the Logitech handheld and
Yeah, it's a bit
just to
expensive.
stream games, but that's like really expensive for the
I
price.
would love a Logitech handheld, but it's just streaming only and it's too expensive. If it was cheaper or it was native, I would buy it. One of the two. But not for a streaming only thing for 300 quid. That's ridiculous. Yeah, I didn't put this in the news either. I should have maybe, but Phil Spencer did mention this week about the Keystone. Said that they built the Keystone, they've got all the parts, they figured out how to do it, and they obviously wanted it to go with wanted to be sold with a controller, but they said it turned out to be too expensive. So they're still working on the Keystone, but they're trying to find a way of making it cheaper because they don't want
Oh,
to.
right.
They basically like saying it's not that much cheaper to build a Keystone than a Series S. So you might like they like at the moment you got the cheaper option is the Series S at the moment, and they're gonna hopefully build a Keystone. That's what he was saying. He said the Keystone is still something they're looking into, but they moved their development over to the Samsung Smart TV app, which is what they've currently been working on. So once that's been finalised, they'll probably go back to Keystone and try and find a cheaper way of doing it. Because they want to have a decent hardware that can still run most games almost natively, but not quite. Just so like it has some processing power, so it's not going to completely lag. But yeah, obviously most of it's going to be a streaming box. I want a Keystone when it comes out, but obviously if it's nearly 200 quid, then obviously what's the point? You might as well go up to a Series S, you know. So they want to make
Or
it
you can
cheap.
just get a Xbox Series S because that's only for like 50 quid extra.
Yeah, that's what I
Native
said.
support.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's right.
Series S, yeah. I don't see the point of a Keystone at 200 quid. I think that's what their problem is. They're trying to get it cheaper, so they haven't got the parts yet to make it at the price they want. They want to make it about 100 quid, I think. So we'll see. Hopefully that's something that will come out soon. Fingers crossed. So yeah, this was going to be our topic of the show, but then the Game Awards came out, so Game Award nominations. So we're just going to talk about this briefly. The Gears of War movie and animated TV show has been announced by Netflix. If Dave Bautista's not in this film, I am going to be very disappointed. Yeah, Gears of War. So I mean, I noticed this in the Game Awards. There's actually adaptation of the year is now a nomination. So now I feel like gaming stuff is becoming more and more prevalent in the mainstream on like streaming services. So obviously you got Gears of War the movie, the animated series. You've got Halo TV show on Paramount. You got the Fallout show coming out. You got Grounded coming out. You got the Mario movie coming out this year or next year. The Last of Us TV show. Horizon TV show, and then we also got Cyberpunk Edge Runners and The Witcher TV show and Arcane. So much TV and movies. Is there anything that's like? Are you excited for the Gears of War movie / TV show, or any of these other
Well,
any of these other things? What were you? What were you
no,
thinking?
not really into it because I think they mount a bunch of live action projects, but some of them are just like either not talked about or silently cancelled. And
Yeah,
I'm like, they're just like throwing ideas into the pot. But thing is, live action Gears of War thing has been going on for years.
Yeah.
Plus, they just got the pilot going on with the Gears of War movie and talk about how the film's supposed to begin.
Yeah.
And it's just like keep saying it's happening in all those bits, but I'm gonna be able to like see anything unless they actually put a trailer out for it. Because I've already seen the Last of Us trailer on Sky, and it's coming out on it because it's coming out on HBO Max.
Yeah.
So I think we're pretty much getting closer to seeing more live action adaptations of video games.
Yeah,
And
that's the
I think
new
it just
thing.
leads into like another subject of this podcast.
Yeah, so I mean the adaptation thing is becoming more and more of a thing as we go on the. Yeah, as I said, like in the Game Awards, there's an issue thing about adaptations now. So I think that's the future of gaming is going to be adaptations. Comic book movies have been the thing for the last 10 years, and now it's video game movies. I think. Yeah, I feel like I wish they did a better job of Halo because Halo's my favorite franchise. Hence, why I'm an Xbox fanboy. I'm hoping Gears of War is going to get a good treatment. And Netflix seems to have a good track record when it comes to like animated shows. I'm not sure about the live action version though. We're going to have to wait and see. I think. Are you
Well,
excited
to
for it? Or
me, well, sorry.
sorry, I was going to say, are you excited for it?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm just a bit mixed because you said about the Halo TV show that it may seem to be received favorably, but I think it's been memed so much
Yeah.
because it just seems like it's like acting as if it's a different show compared to what
Yeah.
people expect to see from the Halo TV show. I
I
mean,
still
I didn't
enjoyed
really.
it. I still enjoyed
Yeah,
it
that's
for what it
good.
was, but it wasn't a Halo show as far as I could say. Master Cheeks, as everyone calls him. He got his cheeks out for everyone. Yeah, there's lots of random stuff. I don't know. It has some of the plot of Halo, but in some stuff it's just generic sci-fi. And you had like some plots that no one cares about with random people, and like it was okay. I feel like they could have done a better job with it though, and felt like it didn't feel like it followed the plot very well. They should have just basically made Combat Evolved into a TV show instead of making its own thing up. Like, it's just
Movie,
completely,
actually.
yeah, or make it into a movie or TV show either, and just like not not make up your own random adaptation that they call it the Silver Timeline or something. Can't remember. It's just like it's not good. I think they should have just stuck to the original plot of Halo, maybe expanded it even a bit, but not. They completely got off track with it. So yeah, not fussed on the Halo TV show. I thought it was alright. I enjoyed it for what it was. But I'm easy to please. I'm one of the people who like The Last Jedi. So yeah, it's one of those things. I mean, so that's the movie adaptations. We're nearly an hour into the podcast. We haven't got to our topic of the show yet. Wow, this is told you it was a packed
Wow.
episode. Just wanted to briefly touch on Pentiment being released this week. Tom Sawyer's Obsidian game. 10 out of 10 from IGN, 86 on Metacritic. So it's doing really well. We've got a really big. So it's an action adventure RPG based in the 1500s. That is a murder mystery. Sounds weird as hell, but it's got 10 out of 10. So I'm definitely gonna have to try and check this out. Have you downloaded it or have you tried it? Have you looked at Pentiment?
Not yet. I have downloaded it, but I haven't
Yeah.
actually tried it because I already got the trio games to focus on.
Yeah.
On my own, Vampire Survivors and Forge on Halo Infinite.
Yeah.
Co-op, Halo and Grounded.
Yeah, I'm the same way. There's so much to play. But yeah, I'm shocked that it got a 10 out of 10 from IGN, but I'm really pleasantly surprised by
Yeah.
that. I'm really going to have to try and check it out. So if you guys have played Pentiment, let us know in the comments below. That is something that I will be playing at some point, but I haven't played it yet, so I can't really judge it too much.
We'll have to see.
I feel like Obsidian has saved 2022 for Xbox, though. I feel like if it wasn't for Obsidian, this year would be even worse. Like the fact that we got a 10 out of 10 from Pentiment and we got Grounded this year, I think we've done is I think Obsidian.
Yeah.
That's not good. There we go. My microphone's back. Sorry, I accidentally unplugged my microphone. But yeah, Obsidian's become like the A team for Microsoft. I think the number one like developer. They seem to be on the mark. They seem to be the only ones who seem to be consistently making stuff for Xbox, and I think they did a really good job. So congratulations to Obsidian. You're bringing the heat. You're being really good, and we really appreciate you. Hopefully, we get a Avowed next year, and that'd be sweet. Yeah. So that's all our news for today. Unless you wanted to talk about Pentiment a little bit more, or
Yeah, it's just in the past 24 hours, it says Activision Blizzard Microsoft deal was struck at a bargain price to protect ATVI CEO, which claims from the Swedish pension fund lawsuit. Says here, from frat house behavior claims to regulatory problems, the 69 billion takeover by Microsoft
right?
um,
Nice.
of gaming giant Activision Blizzard, has hit the feather bump of the way this week after a Swedish state-run pension fund sued ATVI and said the takeover is rigged.
I've not heard this story at all. This is all new to me. So this wasn't in our show notes, so I have no clue what to even say about this because I've not heard about the story.
Well, it's just popped up, which in the moment, it's just another one of the European courts that decides to go at the deal and like try to stab at it. Yeah. And I think it just continues the story of a lot of resistance from the EU courts, and it's just really bad.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm fed up of the ABK deal at the moment. I just want to get it done. Just get it done. Yes. I'm fed up. to talk every week. We have to talk about how Sony's doing something stupid and they're trying to get it blocked. It's just like, oh, stop.
But
you're getting Call of Duty. We've already said you're getting Call of Duty. Can you stop, Sony? Can we just get on with it? Like, why do you have to be such a nuisance? I just wanted to get it done.
Yeah.
It feels like we're in a standstill with Xbox. We're just waiting for this to go through. Like, I want to get Diablo 4 on Game Pass. I want to get Call of Duty on Game Pass. Just let us get it done. I don't understand why we have to... Ugh, so annoying. They want to be sold. Xbox wants to buy them. What's the bloody hold up? Let's just get it done. It's so annoying. Oh, yeah.
So, well, I think you might be interested to know that Microsoft's shares are constantly rising since 2015, and Activision's stocks have raised considerably since February 2022. But Sony's shares has gradually dropped over until October, where the shares raised up, but now it's just going down again. So I don't know if that deal has somewhat influenced Activision and Microsoft to receive more shares than like Sony.
I don't know, to be honest. I feel like Xbox is going in the right direction at the moment, and I feel like PlayStation would be really anti-consumer.
Yes,
I'm not super into it. So, yeah, I don't really know what to say about that. I hadn't had that planned in the podcast, so sorry, I haven't really got much to say. Should we move on to the Game Awards?
Yep.
Okay, so Jeff Keighley has come out and announced the Game Awards this year. We have 31 different categories to go through. We're not going to talk about esports or mobile or VR. I think that's fair to say. Do you want to talk about like accessibility and stuff, or do you want to just stick to the gaming stuff?
Just talk about accessibility too. But okay. I think it's only like one extra category, so hopefully you don't mind about that.
No, that's fine. So we're going to move we're doing it in reverse order. So the later categories first, and then we're going to move to the earlier categories, if that makes any sense. If you have the website up, so we're going to start off with most anticipated game of the year. So obviously the most anticipated game of next year, even. So this is the game that.
I've got to hold you there because I see at the top of the list it's like Game of the Year. So I think you put in you reversed it. It hasn't been updated. Then it's just like best adaptation and like, oh wow, that's really interesting.
Yeah,
just trying to find that.
I did it in reverse order. Sorry, yeah, I did say that.
Yeah, I just found most anticipated game just above like best adaptation.
Okay, so I've got the website up. You see, have you got the website up?
I'll go grab that.
It's probably be easier to follow it on the website.
Yeah.
So I
agree.
So I was basically. The bottom row is best esports. So the first one that's not an esports related one is most anticipated. You see, so that's what I was going to go with.
Hang on a minute. Best categories. Most anticipated. If I can find it. Yep. Most anticipated game.
I just sent you the link on Discord. There you go. Okay. So
yeah, I already did.
The most anticipated game of next year. Final Fantasy 16, Hogwarts Legacy, Resident Evil 4, Starfield, or The Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. What game are you most looking forward to out of those 5? I feel like there's there's some games that have been snubbed, like Spider-Man 2 should probably be on there, and maybe Redfall, and I don't know. But yeah, Final Fantasy 16, Hogwarts Legacy, Resident Evil 4, Starfield, Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. Which do you think's gonna win? What do you want to win the award, and what do you think's gonna win the award? It's probably the question we should be asking.
Well, I just think I would absolutely say that Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom will actually steal this category because I think, given the amount of hype and how much of a little praise that it received, even if it's a sequel to Breath of the Wild, it will still remain as the most anticipated.
Yeah.
But I think it will be ridiculous if Hogwarts Legacy comes out towards the top, because I think there's a lot of controversy surrounding the Harry Potter universe. And to think as if this one wins an award, I think this is going to end up like leading to a lot of explaining about this whole thing. Like, it's just if, we just don't really care about the controversy because we still love that Harry Potter game. Then you just got like Starfield and Legend of Zelda. I mean, what the hell? Like, if the Game Awards are like that biased, they will either fall for either Final Fantasy 15 or Resident Evil 4. So, but I think this is a good category to tell how biased or unbiased that the whole panel is for the awards.
Yeah, I think Legend of Zelda, I think, is going to take it, but I wouldn't mind Starfield winning it. I think I'm really looking forward to Starfield, but I think Legend of Zelda is going to win it. I think Breath of the Wild 1 was such a phenomenon when it first came out. So
I think it's just the case that people can sign in and vote on them. So I think there's quite likely to have a PlayStation bias, as far as I know.
So when it comes to the voting, it's 90% of it is the critics, 10% is the viewer vote. So basically our votes mean jack shit, essentially. That's basically what they're saying. It's like, oh, why don't you vote? Nah. If you click previously on the top, where it says prove, that's how we're going to just go through the list, if that's okay. Just to try to keep it, make it easy for you. So best adaptation is next. So we've got Arcane, the League of Legends TV show, Cyberpunk Edgerunners, The Cuphead Show, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and Uncharted. It's got to be Uncharted, isn't it?
No, that would be way opposite of what we hope. Because I don't think that movie is well received.
No, I'm joking.
Yeah, that's right. But I think this will be an instant win for Arcane, because this has been talked about so much, even though it's been released like last year. But because it's a new category on the Game Awards, which is the best adaptation, because at the moment it's just there's more gaming tie-ins, and not only just coming into like places like Netflix, but it's also like encouraging more game sales. Like I was watching Cyberpunk Edgerunners, and I was like, oh gosh, I think I would really check out the Cyberpunk game on Xbox and see if I can get that. But I mean,
the sales for The Witcher 3 like skyrocketed when season 2 of when the Witcher TV series came back on Netflix. The Witcher games skyrocketed in sales. That is like the big thing now. That's the reason they re-released The Last of Us Part 1, is because they got The Last of Us TV series coming out. They know that this is going to work. And yeah, as we were discussing earlier, we got Gears of War TV show, got Gears of War movie. It's becoming more and more of a thing, and that's why they've got this category. When we did the vote, I actually voted on Sonic 2 because I'm an idiot. I thought it was a fun film. I enjoyed Sonic 2. I thought it was a good film. Even though they had like a weird subplot that was like about a wedding for like half the film. Weird.
Well, except their wedding is actually not part of the actual plot. And I think it's basically Sonic and Co like mucking about outside. And but I would say I really enjoyed the original so much that I watched twice.
Yeah,
but the next film is like better, and it's more faithful to the franchise. But I think, to be honest, that I just don't really see Cuphead show winning or getting to the top. I think it's just basically like some trashy 90s-esque type of thing. But I think it's just... but I would imagine that Cyberpunk and Arcane to be like huge runners-up to this whole thing. So, but I think people would riot if Arcane didn't actually win that category.
Yeah, I think it's Cyberpunk or Arcane are the two. I think they're definitely the two front runners, I think, out of the two of them. I haven't watched either of them, so I can't really judge, but I think that's the ones that are going to get the votes for sure. Okay. So then we have Best Debut Indie. Woo! Vampire Survivors!
Yep, definitely.
The only category where Vampire Survivors is in. Shocking. And snubs.
Just imagine that winning that category. Like, for the game that hasn't been so polished compared to the others,
Yeah.
this one is just like for the game that's basically made in Game Maker, looks like it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's made in Game Maker, but it certainly looks like it. But if it wins that category, that will change on how we view games, because what's more important about games than the graphics or even the story is the gameplay, and that's where Vampire Survivors may prove so if it wins the category.
So it's...
But
yeah, go on.
you can tell the bias of the game, whether the Tunic is already playable on more platforms now, because it came out on Xbox first. But if Stray wins, which comes out on PlayStation and PC, that will be PlayStation bias, because right now it's just like other games. Just this seems to be interesting, but I think it's just a case of whether Vampire Survivors wins it or Stray wins it.
Yeah, so
I would be surprised if Tunic does win the category, but I think it just really depends. So
yeah, I haven't mentioned. So it's Neon White, Narco, Stray, Tunic, and Vampire Survivors are the nominees for this game. This is a debut game, even though there's some of these people have actually made games in the past, but it's like, I guess, a debut for a studio. I mean, spoiler for the rest of the nominees if you haven't seen them. Stray is in a lot of the is quite highly nominated, and I don't know why. It's because it's a meme game, I guess. People like cats, and it's become a meme game. I've heard it's not that good, so I'm like, why is it in all the awards? I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So there's Content Creator of the Year. Do you want to do this one or not bother? Because I don't really know any of them. The Bellingham I knew from Twitter, and Carl Jacobs is from Mr. Beast, right?
Wait a minute. You got me way ahead, because I was going to say, I looked at the Neon White and oh, interesting. There's a first person, is it RPG or some sort?
It's a first person, yeah. It's like a first person shooter with cards and stuff in it. It's supposed to be really good, Neon White, to be fair. I've not played it though, but I've heard it's really good. I
think it's just quite interesting, but cool. Yeah, just not likely to play it straight now because I've got too much in the backlog. But anyway, Content Creator, there's Carl Jacobs, Ludwig, Nabelian, Nobru, and QT Cinderella.
Where's Potato Chief? Where's Potato Chief in it? This should be my category. God damn it!
You've been on this for YouTube for 10 years. So
exactly. Where's my flowers? Give me some flowers. I want some credit. I want an award. Damn it! I voted for Nabelian. He was a big Twitter. He's good at getting all gaming news up, and now he's retired. So it's I feel like it'd be a nice thing for him to realize how much people actually I don't know if you heard the whole story about Nabelian. He's a guy on Twitter who aggregates all gaming news, and he was really highly followed, and a lot of people liked him. And he started a Patreon, and no one subscribed to it, or not many people subscribed to it, so he quit.
Oh, that sucks.
So it's sad, and then everyone was like, "Oh man, I'm sorry, come back, please." I've got a Patreon, and I've got hardly any people I've got no one following me at the moment, so I get exactly where he's coming from. And so he's like, "Oh, maybe I miss." I think I can't remember what he said. I was like, "Oh, I didn't realize I must have got the wrong thought about how important I am or something." I thought so. It's so he left. He's left Twitter forever, and it's really sad. So I voted for Nabelian because I want him to realize that we do appreciate him, and he did do a good job. And it was just sad that he had to leave the platform. But Carl
I
Jacobs
don't.
is cool as well. I think he's part of Mr. Beast. And,
I haven't really heard much about him, and also I may have recognized either Electric or Cutie Cinderella, but I just don't really know much about them, and I don't
No.
even know about Nobu as well. So I don't know.
No, exactly. It's one of those categories that I was just going to skip it, but I thought, well, might as well just have a look at it.
Just go on.
Should we go to best multiplayer?
Yep.
Call
Guess
of
what?
Duty.
Halo.
No
Guess
Halo.
what? No Halo. That's
Snubbed
right.
again. Yeah.
Given that there's so many fuck ups with it, especially the delays,
But
we're
it's one
not
of-
seeing it on it.
But it's also one of those things that they say in the Game Awards, like, oh, I know we closed the nominees in November, and then like so the games don't get a chance, but they could come back next year. Okay, so Halo was critically acclaimed when it came out. Where is it? Like if you whatever.
It's just really weird that Overwatch 2 gets nominated because
It
Overwatch
sucks.
2 is basically an extension of Overwatch, and that's it.
And
So
it's not very good. It's
don't-
broken at the moment, and they need to fix it. So yeah,
that's
sorry,
that's why I haven't even touched it much, and I found the prices for all of the cosmetics to be a bit too dear.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I'm like, oh gosh, I don't want to be
People-
spending any money on this,
It's so-
especially I haven't got on well with this whole kind of game.
It's so bad that people want the loot boxes back. That's how bad it is. So yeah,
It's
the nominees.
really bad.
So the nominees are Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Multiverses, Overwatch 2, Splatoon 3, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge. I voted for Multiverses because I really enjoyed it.
Yes.
It's like Smash Brothers, but not quite as good. It's not quite as good as Smash Brothers, but it's still fun. And it's free to play.
It's Smash
so-
Brothers that's not exclusive to Nintendo consoles.
Yeah.
So
good.
it would be great if it wins that. But I think
know
it would
that.
be totally amazing if the Turtles did actually win the category.
Turtles
Because I
would be
think, to
good
be
too.
honest, that's a really quite well made game. And it's not as huge as the other contenders.
I think Call of Duty's going to win it, I think. I don't want Call of Duty to win it, but I think it'll win it.
No, I don't really want to win it either. But I think it would be really nice if Multiverses does actually win this
I
category.
agree. Okay,
Yeah.
so then we have best sport / racing. Do you care about this one? I don't. FIFA and NBA.
I don't really, but I
No.
think it would be interesting if Gran Turismo 7 or Oddie Oddie World wins it. But I think it's going to be one of those
I voted on the
yearly
World.
sports stuff.
Okay, best strategy / sim. Dune Spice Wars, Mario Rabbit, Sparks of Hope, Total War Warhammer, 2 Point Campus, and Victoria 3. I voted Mario because Mario, and that was literally it.
Did you play it before?
I played the original one. I played Mario and Mario Rabbit's Kingdom Battle, but I haven't played Sparks of Hope yet. I would like to
Well-
play Sparks of Hope, but I'm a bit broke, and as you said, we've got loads to play. So,
But you still have enough money for Pokemon Violet, though.
yes, that's been saved away. Is there anything you wanted to talk about in the sim / strategy? Because I don't really know much of the other games.
Well, I only played a bit of 2 Point Campus, but it's basically 2 Point Hospital,
Yeah.
only with a campus setting. I don't know much about other games. Cool about Warhammer 3, getting sequels. I mean, it's pretty good, but I think I see a little bit of a niche, but Creative Assembly does actually do very good games. No doubt about it. But I haven't really checked out Victoria 3, and I think Dune Spice Wars is just oh, cool. I haven't heard much about it, so I can't really comment on this category.
Next category is basically the Nintendo category. Best Family. Kirby and the Forgotten Lands, Lego Star Wars, The Skywalker Saga, Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, Switch Sports, and Splatoon 3. Kirby is what I voted for. I like Kirby.
I would go for Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga because
Ooh.
even if it's a regurgitation of the Lego Star Wars games,
Yeah.
it's still like really impressive, and I think is really the top family game of the year. But I
Wow.
think, but I think it just depends if they go for Nintendo Switch Sports. It just means like these are like it's just like coming from those who
Yeah.
feel Wii Sports is still like really important for this
Yeah.
whole generation because it brought families together. So if they see Switch Sports to be huge, then they
I
would
used to.
get this win the category. But I think I would see Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga winning this category, and I think it's been talked about a lot.
See, I voted Kirby because it's really good Kirby. It's the best Kirby game that's come out in years, and I mean,
Oh,
spoilers for the rest of the categories. It's not nominated in anything else, I don't think. So it's like it's kind of been snubbed. Everyone felt like it should have been in like Game of the Year category, and it's not. So I feel like Kirby deserves a bit more praise than it's got. It's the highest selling
I
Kirby game
think
of all time, apparently already.
I think the Kirby game hasn't been talked about after its release
No, it's a
because I think
shame.
people were talking about everything else like Splatoon and Pokemon. So I
Yeah.
don't. I mean, it would be cool if Kirby won the category, but I really hate to be a bearer of bad news, but Kirby doesn't have as much of a chance to win this category as Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga.
Probably
But
not.
it could go to Splatoon 2, 3, who knows?
Next up is Best Fighting. We have DNF Duel, I don't know what that is. JoJo Bizarre Adventure All Star Battle R. King of Fighters XV.
15.
Multiverses, yeah, 15. And Sifu. So Sifu isn't even a fighting game, so I don't know why it's in this category. That's dumb. But okay. I
Well, it's
voted for
still.
Multiverses.
Well, I think Multiverses might actually win there, but
Yeah.
Sifu, even though it was released last year, it's still like it's a kind of action game that uses martial arts fighting
Yeah.
techniques and is a roguelite.
It's more like a beat
So
'em up, really. You
yeah,
know.
it just comes out in like different platforms, so people had more chances to check it out. Hence, it could be in this category
I
for
mean,
some reason.
Is Bayonetta a fighting game? No.
No,
Is a Shooter Rage a fighting game? No. Is
look,
Ninja Turtles a fighting game? No.
I
You know.
think I think you have to understand that Sifu is more focused on the martial arts moves
I
than
guess, but
actual like
it
just beating people up
seems weird.
because if you think about it, it does use like fighting styles, so it makes sense to go for the best fighting. But as you would say, Sifu winning this category is gonna lead to some like a lot of discourse around
Oh
it.
yeah.
So I think given the popularity, Multiverses does actually have a very good chance to win it. Who
Right.
knows?
Next category is best role playing game. Elden Ring. Right, we're done. Next. Elden
Or it
Ring
could
wins this
be
category. It
or it
better.
could be Pokemon Legends Arceus, but it depends. Really
Rival Light.
depends.
So it's Elden 3. Elden Ring is one of the best games ever made. It is a masterpiece. It deserves Game of the Year. It definitely deserves to be best.
You'll be interest you'll be interested to know that Live Alive is actually a remake of a Super Nintendo game, so it'll be really weird if this wins that category. But but I think I would say Elden Ring would easily take it, unless there's some possibility for Arceus or Xenoblade 3 to even like take over this category. But who knows? I think the I was going to say that because God of War Ragnarok is most likely to be a winner of this category, and I think with this kind of momentum, I think it's quite likely it might give a foreshadow to what the game of the year is. I just don't really see Tunic winning this category. I think it's just like Stray or God of War to be winning this category, but it depends on like how much of a lean is it between those two games. Like Plague Tale Requiem is just more obvious to those who play a lot on PC and Xbox with Game Pass because that's where you can easily get it. uh, well, I think it's the thing is that action is like treated as an umbrella because for many decades there's like a surplus amount of action games that's easily mixed in with different genres. But I think to be honest, I don't really see this anything unique with it
Yeah.
too. So I would imagine Bayonetta 3 taking this category. So
Well, I'd be interested. I would like to see Bayonetta win it. I don't know though. We'll see. I guess. I think Call of Duty might win it, but yeah, it's not like a shoot. There should be like a shooter category. I don't understand why it's just action, but okay. Okay. Best VR/AR. I've not played any of these games. So I'm gonna skip that if that's okay with you.
no.
Innovation
It would
and
be funny.
Go on.
It would be really funny if Among Us VR wins this category. But I think apart from that, it's just like,
That's kind of sus
yeah,
though.
none of us play VR, so we can't comment really.
That's kind of sus. Innovation and accessibility again, not something I really can speak much about. We did the spoiler cast on As Dusk Falls, which is nominated. That had really good accessibility features. I felt like you could play it on a mobile phone and stuff, so I thought that was cool. But yeah, got As Dusk Falls, God of War Ragnarok, Return to Monkey Island, The Last of Us Part One, Boo, and The Quarry.
Yeah, I think if you've been like paying attention to Laura K. Buzz's reviews of the lots of games with accessibility features, I think I can like saw some of the videos there and talked about it. But I don't know much about the Quarry or the Return to Monkey Island.
No,
But I think
neither do
as
I.
Dusk Falls, I think it's really nice that they put some accessibility options that makes the games better. Like you
Yeah.
have quick time events in it, so it's nice you have those accessibility options and it helps with
Sure.
it. But as for the God of War Ragnarok and Last of Us Part 2, I think, am I right in saying that they got accessibility options so you can play for it just for the story or some sort?
Uh, I'm not sure. I haven't played either of them. The Last of Us Part Two had stuff like you could do colorblind mode, so like the characters were like blue, like they were just like bright colors, like so all the enemies were like red silhouettes, and all the neutral people were blue, and everything else was like grey and stuff. So like stood out, so it was easier to find stuff. And hidden items would be like lit up in yellow and stuff like that. So you could like that kind of accessibility, and you could have like larger subtitles and stuff. But I've not tried it with the other two, so I'm not really sure. I've heard they're supposed to be quite good, so that's nice, and it's good that we can get more people playing these games. Yeah, still,
I
Last of Us
think it
Part
just
One is
depends.
just a pain in the ass. I don't know why I don't. They could have just released a patch for Last of Us Part One with all these new features. Then you have to resell the game for 70 quid. But there you go, it's just one of those things.
Well, I think I would say that I think it's the case that if any of the other games have much better accessibility options compared to God of War Ragnarok, they were most likely to win the category. But because I don't know much about their accessibility options, because I think I saw a bit about Last of Us, but
Yeah.
I don't know whether that's a better one than God of War Ragnarok. But it just really depends, really.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, the only argument I got, because I see people online going, "Oh, see, Last of Us 1 was worth remaking." No, it wasn't. Like they didn't need to charge you 70 quid so you could have accessibility options. They could have patched in accessibility options to the original game or the remaster. You didn't have to remaster it again to do that. Pathetic.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's just one of the things that winds me up. When people are like feel like it's justified, it's not. It's not justified. Best community support. Do you care about this one? I don't.
I don't know much, but it just seems Bungie is doing better and offers community support.
We love Bungie.
Fortnite, all I'm seeing is just the aesthetics of the game and the stuff they come out with, so I'm not totally aware of the community support.
Same.
But I think No Man's Sky, I think I heard it's got a really good community support. And I think Apex Legends, it just keeps...
I mean, they're all supposed to be good ones because they're all up for the nominee. So I'm not sure really where I would go with that.
But interesting about the Final Fantasy 14, which I'm not completely aware of it. And that's even when it's like the game that's been released for over a decade. So it's just interesting. But I would imagine Destiny 2 might take this crown unless No Man's Sky can take it. So
I haven't got a clue, to be honest. It could be anything for all right. So yeah, then the next step is best mobile game. I don't play mobile games. Got no interest in it whatsoever.
Me neither.
Then it's best indie. Indie. Cult of the Lamb, Neon White, Sifu, Stray, and Tunic. I voted Tunic. Cult of the Lamb's supposed to be really nice, but I'm surprised it's only come up once. And there's no Vampire Survives. What the hell?
I was going to say that. So, yeah, it should have been in this category because I think instead you have Seafood that came out last year. So it could have been made this room for like Vampire Survivors. But I think it's interesting if Cult of the Lamb does actually take this category because I think it is particularly unique. It's a unique entry. But I could see either Stray or Tunic like winning this category as the most likely candidates.
Yeah, I agree. Best ongoing. So this is literally the same as the community one.
Yeah.
So Destiny 2, we'll just say that. We'll just go with Destiny 2, even though we don't know.
It's either Destiny 2, Fortnite, or Genshin Impact.
The next is Games for Impact, which is like similar to the accessibility one, as does Falls in it, which is great. We enjoyed that. Got the spoiler cast up for that. I played Memo Blue. It was kind of lame, to be honest. I didn't really get much out of it. It was like a 2-hour game. Didn't get much out of it. The other 4 I haven't played, so I'm gonna skip that category if that's okay.
I really don't know about much other games apart from As Dusk Falls. Heard about Memoir Blue, but not into it so much.
It's easy.
And there's Citizen Sleeper, which is on like Xbox Game Pass as well. Yeah. But I don't know because anything that's interesting, I thought it would be quite nice. But to be honest, can't comment on it, and I don't even know if As Dusk Falls will be good enough for this one.
Yeah.
Because I don't really see this as foot provocative. Who knows?
Okay, so now we have Best Performance. Ashley Birch for Horizon Forbidden West. Plague Tale Requiem. Charlotte McBurney. God of War Ragnarok. Christopher Judge. Immortal. Mona Cage. God of War Ragnarok, Sunny Sanjal. I don't know. I voted for Plague Tale.
2 performances for 1 game.
Yeah, it's a bit. I'm hoping that splits the vote. That's what I'm hoping.
I think it's just a case of like you either like the PlayStation so much you go for God of War Ragnarok performers, or you just like Xbox so much that you go for Plague Tale Requiem. But I think I don't know much about the kind of characters they play, and I don't know much about their performances.
No.
But I would reckon Ashley Birch to be the one who wins this category,
Oh,
because
maybe.
I would imagine they're the one who like voices the main character in the game. I don't
Yeah.
know.
She's
But if she-
Aloy, yeah. She's Aloy in
But-
Forbidden West.
Yeah, I think if they like win this I reckon they have a good chance to win this category.
I don't know.
Well, I would say. Sorry.
I was gonna say I played a bit of her. I got Horizon Forbidden West. She doesn't shut up. I'm like, shut up! I'm trying to play the game. It's like, hey, maybe I should climb up on this ledge. It's like, yeah, no shit. That's what I was doing. Why are you talking? Shut up, Ashley Birch. She's bloody annoying. They're like, oh, I wonder what this is. It's like, can you shut up? You don't need to say you don't need to keep talk. Then they literally just have her talking to herself like non-stop, and it's just like, ugh. It's annoying. Amicia, and Hugo. I voted for Plague Tale. Say that Immortal's supposed to be a really good game. I haven't played it though. It's like a movie kind of game. Yeah.
I think I would say I would pick Horizon and win this category, but then again, I think there's a good chance for like God of War Ragnarok performers to like win this category. But given there's more likely to be a lot of praise over this overrated game, so
Yeah. I'm not fussed on as I said, I got Horizon. I didn't like it really for what I played. I'll have to go back to it at some point, but I barely got very far into it at all. I got like 2-3 hours into it. She's just annoying. Gonna be honest. Best audio design: Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Gran Turismo 7, Horizon Forbidden West. I'm saying Elden Ring because I'm an Elden Ring fanboy, and that is my answer for everything. If Elden Ring's in a category, I'm voting for it.
well, I think I would not particularly sure about World of Warfare 2 unless like Infinity Ward actually delivers a much better audio thing. I mean, it's possible they can win the award, so
Supposed to have good
I don't know
audio,
much
to be fair.
about like Elden Ring, but I can imagine that God of War Ragnarok has a good chance to win it anyway.
Probably will.
And I think they may have a good audio design. But I think the one that may deserve the award could well be Gran Turismo 7 because graphically it looks great. And I think they would have more realistic sounds and coming from the cars that just makes it for a really good audio feedback. So I could see Gran Turismo 7 winning this category.
Up next is Best Score and Music. So we have Plague Tale Requiem, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Metal Hellsinger, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Xenoblade always has great music. Metal Hellsinger has some awesome rock music in it. Plague Tale, I've not really noticed the music and the score that much, to be honest. Haven't played God of War, but Elden Ring, this has some amazing soundtrack. I was listening to the soundtrack the other day while I was just chilling. Just had the Elden Ring soundtrack on in the background, and it's so good. Oh,
That's good
it's
to
beautiful.
know. I think the Ragnarok may have like interesting beats.
It'll probably win that Ragnarok. Will probably
like-
win because it's probably fully orchestrated and all that. But I'm
Plague Tale Requiem is just like fits more to the medieval theme, and I think that's interesting. But I think the games that I could see winning is Xenoblade Chronicles 3 because I really enjoyed the original soundtrack, and if they kept it up with the Xenoblade Chronicles 3, which I have yet to play, I still own it, but I haven't even
played
touched
it
the game
either.
yet. But I think I would be quite happy if it like takes the category for best score in music. But it would be really, really interesting and mildly surprising if Hellsinger can win it. But I have to say, that's really, it just builds the music and the rhythm done in such a way that it just actually makes you enjoy the game. So I think
Hellsinger's
if it wins
fantastic.
I think if it wins the category, I'll be like amazed. So it's like really cool.
I would be really happy if Hellsinger won it, but I don't think they will. Basically, spoiler alert for a lot of these awards. I feel like I think Elden Ring should win all the awards, but I feel that God of War's going to win all the awards. I'm pessimistic. I think everyone's going to vote for God of War over Elden Ring, and I feel Elden Ring should beat it in every category, but that's just me. Best
I
art direction,
played.
Elden Ring.
I played neither of these games, and I don't really think it will win every single category.
I hope not. I hope God of War doesn't win all the categories. I'm worried about that.
Neither does like Elden Ring, really.
Because Last of Us 2 won every category on the 2020 one, and it was a god awful game. At least God of War Ragnarok is a decent game, but like Last of Us 2, which is awful. Anyway, sorry. Best art direction: Elden Ring, God of War, Horizon, Stray, and Scorn. Scorn is disgusting, but the art direction is decent, so I can see why it's here. It's unique. It's got a unique art style. Let's just say that. Stray, I don't know why Stray's here. There's so many games that have much better art style than Stray. It's just they think, oh, it's a cat game that everyone likes. Let's put it in every category. I'm sure people will be mad. I'm mad.
I think
Vampire Survives. God damn it. Tunic would be
to-
better than this. Neon White would be better than this. Shifu
I think it would just
than
actually
this.
deserves the spot in this category, that Tunic. But I think if there's a reason for Stray like coming in, it will be to do with environmental design standard graphics. So
Not first on Stray.
I could see the pointers with it. But when I first saw one of the trailers of Horizon Forbidden West, it's
Yeah.
just like really vibrant. It has
pretty.
paid a lot of stuff into the art direction, and I think it's just really interesting. So I could see that winning awards.
For me, it's Elden Ring because, in Halo, where you crash into the Halo ring and you walk out of the ship for the first time and you see the Halo ring in front of you, or like in Fallout New Vegas when you come out of the vault for the first time, or like Fallout 3, you come out for the vault for the first time, you see the world open up. Elden Ring has like 3 or 4 of those moments in the game. Like you'll open a door, you'll be like, "Whoa, this world's beautiful and massive," and then you'll like go somewhere else. And it's like, "Oh my god, the map has doubled in size. Oh my god, the map has doubled in size again." It's just like it's like, and it's just like mesmerizing. Like I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't played Elden Ring. Play Elden Ring, God's sake, it's so good. But yeah, it's just like the art style is so beautiful. Okay. It's some like if you look at the characters design, like the main character can look like a bit generic and all that, but the world is so beautiful in there. And it's so varied. As I said, you have that feeling of like, look how beautiful this world is. That experience of seeing the world for the first time. You have like that overwhelming, like looking over the world, like how beautiful it is. You have that overwhelming feeling like 3 or 4 times in this game, and it's crazy. Like most games can only really achieve it once, and Elden Ring just keeps delivering that. And it's just so good. Ugh.
Well,
I can't say enough good about this game. Sorry.
We're down to the last 3 categories.
Woo! Almost there. This taking its time. Okay. Best narrative: Plague Tale Requiem, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon, and Immortal. Love Elden Ring. Narrative is not a strong point. You make your own narrative. So I actually would go with Plague Tale on this one, actually. Or God of War, I guess.
Oh, so
God of War's going to win it. But
So why would you say Plague Tale Requiem?
it's got a good story. It's got a good narrative. If like Alicia and Hugo, I think they're like a cool. I haven't finished it yet, but it's just like a nice family dynamic, and it's like got a good plot.
But I think it's just like that goes into humans and monsters type of thing, and it feels like Last of Us. But I think it's just like how it conveys the fear and how like
It's like the Last
makes
of
it-
Us, but not shit.
But I have to stress that you thought this of the rats and the stuff with it, but I think it's just a case of like how much of a world building comes in, and it's
Yeah.
just like how you can see the threats from the least likely of places, and I think it's just really interesting. But
I think Amicia and Hugo are much more likable characters than Ellie and Abby. If we're going to go off that comparison, that's probably what it more
all right,
comes down to.
I would have to butt in, and I would say that given the made a huge amount of focus on that
Yeah.
for what is basically a slight improvement over the original. I
Yeah.
would say that God of War Ragnarok would easily
Fair.
win Best Narrative out
Oh,
of
it's gonna
any
win
other
it.
category, because I think like how much they brought a lot of the elements in, and how the original manages to make it really special for new and existing players of the God of War series.
Yeah.
I think the Ragnarok, I haven't explored it that much. I'm glad Last of Us Part 1 isn't in, but I would see God of War Ragnarok winning this, and I
Yeah.
think it will beat everything else.
I mean,
Unless it's possible that Elden Ring may actually win this category.
it's possible.
Unless it does have the same kind of sentimental effect it has from Bloodborne. Because the thing is, I haven't really played Elden Ring, to be
Oh, it's
honest.
brilliant. So I was going to say Elden Ring. The only thing with Elden Ring, because I said about this it not having much of a plot, it does have a plot, and it's written by George R. R. Martin, but it's a bit more under the surface. It's not like they don't batter you over the head with the story. If you want a story in Elden Ring, you can find the story and you can listen to people and talk to people and you get a story from it. You want to become the Elden Lord and fix the Elden Ring and all this stuff, and it's interesting. And it's like the Elden Ring being destroyed means that no one really truly dies and all this stuff. It's a weird story. But yeah, it's got George R. R. Martin writing it. It has got an interesting story, but it's kind of below the surface. It's not over your head, about your head with it. I said Requiem because I voted Plague Tale Requiem because I feel it deserves an award, and I feel like it's got a good narrative. So I feel like this would be the award for Plague Tale in my personal opinion. But I feel God of War's winning this one, no problem, hands down. God of War's winning that. Best game direction: Elden Ring, God of War, Horizon, Immortal, Stray. I feel like they might do the thing where one game gets the direct. I think because it's been God of War and Elden Ring again, right? So I feel like they might go director gets this, and then the game of the year is the game of the year is the other one. Like so they it's almost like a consolation prize. Do you think that might be the
Well,
case? 'Cause I think that might be the case. Like if
I don't
Elden Ring
know.
wins, like I feel like Elden Ring might win this, and then God of War wins Game of the Year, or God of War wins this, and then Elden Ring wins Game of the Year. I feel like that might happen. I don't know.
Well, I would have to say that for the game direction, it would be great if Elden Ring wins this.
I hope
But
so.
I wouldn't be surprised if God of War Ragnarok wins this. But I would say the same for Stray. But the reason I would say Elden Ring because not only they got George R. R. Martin and get all those elements to make this a highly believable world, but they also did a substantial amount of changes that expands on the Dark Souls formula
Yeah.
and just turn it into an open world fest, which to me, I think both gameplay and the story, as far as it's concerned, is just what really makes it so special it wins the award. But I think if anyone cares more about the aesthetics than the gameplay, then they would certainly go for God of War Ragnarok. Otherwise, Stray may have a better chance to win as well. So who knows?
And now we're on to the final category: Game of the Year. Plague Tale Requiem, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon. I don't know. I'm rapping it. Horizon 2, Stray, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Well, it's interesting that game, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, has that spot on the list.
Yeah,
But I
it
don't
is
really
interesting.
see it easily winning the Game of the Year,
No.
unless it does, which will be the very surprising
shocker.
thing. But
think-
if it does that, then people are going to all riot because
Oh yeah.
God of War is not winning that award, but instead
Yeah.
it's given to Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Could you imagine? I would love that in a way. I would kind of love that just for the memes. But no, I feel like it's a 2-horse race, isn't it? That's what we've been saying the whole way through. Elden Ring, God of War. It's between those two games. I personally want Elden Ring to win it. I feel like God of War is a sequel. Everyone says it's just more of 2018. It's like I played 2018. We're in 2022 now. Let's play some new games. Elden Ring completely revolutionized open world games. It's like took the Dark Souls, Bloodborne formula and turned it into something that's a bit more. Like you say accessible, but it's not really. But it is more accessible because you can go other ways. You can do different things. You don't have to go face the boss, and it's like got an open world that's not full of like check markers and stuff, and you just explore it yourself. You find your own adventures. You find your own like, ooh, have you like you go to your friends and go, ooh, have you found this cave? Or have you found this monster? And they'll be like, no, I haven't. So, oh, okay. Oh my god, it's got co-op. It's got fantastic story and like all the bosses and stuff are so memorable. I'm gushing. I know. I'm kind of going off one, but I hope God of War doesn't win it because God of War is just the same old thing. It's the Sony formula. I'm kind of bored of the Sony formula now. Grumpy old dad man does adventures and it has cinematic cutscenes. Like, what do you freaking do? Like, I was like saying this to you earlier. It's like God of War is like I think like Yahtzee says it's like a ghost train ride. Yahtzee from Zero Punctuation. It's like like Pirates of the Caribbean ride in Disneyland. It's like, oh, it's fun, but you know where you're going. It's like it's just a straight line. It's too linear. God of War for me, and it's just like, oh, now push the circle button to kill the dragon. Like this is what I was saying to you last night when we were talking about this. It's like in Elden Ring and in God of War, you kill a dragon. In Elden Ring, you have to figure out a strategy to kill the dragon, and the best way to do it. In God of War, push circle at the right time to kill it. Like quick time events. It's just like it looks cool. Like the camera gets right up in there and looks at like, oh, look how gruesome this is, and look at the jaw being torn. Like, ugh. Whereas Elden Ring is like, I have to figure out a way of killing this dragon. It's usually me blasting spells at it, spamming spells because I'm a cheap bastard. I'm cheesing, but still, it's I don't know. I feel like you make your own story with Elden Ring, whereas God of War is like really like handcrafted.
I think
Does that make any sense? Like it's like smooth edges. Everything's it's for everyone. It's like super. It's like it feels like it's just designed with a committee behind it. It's like it doesn't feel like it has the heart of like an Elden Ring to me. Although maybe I'm being a bit harsh, but I don't like. Yeah, I'm bored of that type of game. I want to see different type of things, and I think Elden Ring is a revolution. It is the sequel. It's like essentially like the sequel to Breath of the Wild, which was a revolution in its own right in 2017. Yes, and now I will shut up. You go ahead.
Thank you, because I really do have my opinions on this.
No, go ahead. I just needed to rant to get that off my chest. You go ahead.
That's all right. To me, I would definitely see Elden Ring and God of War Ragnarok as the only contenders for this, because the people would go. I think, given the bias and how the Game Awards usually treats, like how they see the most hype and most favored games, because the thing is, I've been seeing a lot of hyped up games with it, so
Yeah.
I think God of War Ragnarok may easily grab this category, but I think the more fairer pick would be the Elden Ring, because I think overall it is well done in many areas, and it would be nice if it wins it, but I would not. But the God of War Ragnarok winning this category wouldn't be out of the question. So I would say it's definitely one of those two. But
Definitely.
I think if I have to be the one who's good at predicting things, I would say God of War Ragnarok would easily win this category.
No.
So I'm just being realistic here.
I really hope not. I really hope not. Like,
But-
it won it like in 2018 already. And as we've said earlier, all the reviewers say it's the same bloody game. So why win? Oh, it doesn't need to win it again. No.
Well,
I
to
think
be
you're
honest,
right, but I don't want you to be right. I hope you're wrong, but I think you are right.
well, I think the thing is, no matter which platform you're in, I mean, there's always going to be games that has so many ratings, but ends up being overrated. Like, there's Gears of War franchise, which I'm not impressed with any of those games. That I played the original, that's fine. Didn't get on with the sequels. I played a bit of Gears of War 5, but I still struggled to get back in. And yet, people still love this shit. Like, there's Last of Us games, which I would have to say the original is actually really good, and I enjoyed it. But I think it's just Last
I
of Us
agree.
parts 1 and 2 is just like probably like not not that impressive, and yet people still
No.
praise it and thinks people who argue about the story or the gameplay of it means they don't understand much about it. But fuck you, I mean, we do have our opinions on that. So
Yeah.
it's not like you see, oh, the game's good. Well, not exactly. And it's just the way I would say that a lot of the games, when they receive a lot of hype and receive a lot of scores, you just end up have this some kind of parasocial relationship with the game that you feel,
Yeah.
oh, this game's good, so therefore it must be good. I could be wrong, of course, but
Yeah.
you have to bear in mind there are some games that are so massively huge and so good that it ends up becoming much better games, and yet people often like see the game's really good based on hype and all this
Yeah.
good stuff. And I think it's just more to do with popularity being a huge factor in this than just like really good games out there. Like there's Chris Code, which hasn't been marketed so much, and yet it's been favored so much. So I don't know. It's just I just don't think games are just like really special like that anymore
Yeah.
because I just feel like as if you hype the game so much, and if it delivers on the SESIX, you just feel like, yeah, this game is brilliant. But then
Yeah.
you have to realize there are games like Grounded, Tunic,
Love Grounded.
Vampire Survivors. Those kind of games are actually more fun without having to worry about
Yeah.
aesthetics or even the marketing. But then again, I don't really see the awards to be a place for that. And I feel it's just deserves games like Elden Ring or God of War Ragnarok when it receives so much marketing and hype around it. So therefore, I just don't really feel a lot special at the Game Awards. It's just like, meh, it's
Yeah.
just more like a popularity contest more than anything.
It is, yeah. I mean, that's what all awards are, of popularity contests, are they? I mean, that's literally what it is.
Well, it's interesting you say that Oscars seems to be going for the more diversive and like more social aspects of it when you have superhero movies and all these fun and
Yeah.
exciting movies that are up for that could have deserved Oscars, but instead they just go for something that is like more
True.
like give you more thoughtful messages about social implications and stuff like that.
I mean, that's a good point. Like, I'm thinking about it. It's like, do I want the Game Awards to be like what they are now, where games like God of War and stuff are up for Game of the Year, or do we want it more like the Oscars, where it's literally God of War gets snubbed every year because it's like mainstream, casual, like I mean, I suppose Call of Duty never makes it to Game of the Year, even though it's super popular every year. I don't know. I mean, you make a good point there. Oh, my light just went off. Anyway, but I don't know. It takes me back to 2020. I thought 2020. I thought Ghost of Tsushima should have won it, and the people's vote was Ghost of Tsushima. Yeah, they voted Last of Us Part Two won every award, or Animal Crossing, which Animal Crossing was like a movement, wasn't it? Like during the COVID pandemic, it was like a groundswell. Everyone was playing Animal Crossing. And it was like the way of coping for everyone. And it didn't win the award, and it was Last of Us Part Two, which really annoys me. And it's just like that's what I'm worried is going to happen again here. It's like I feel like Elden Ring was such a big thing at the beginning of the year, and everyone loved it. But God of War's so cinematic and movie like, and Jeff Keighley wants this to be like a movie awards basically. And it's like, oh, I don't know. I'm not first on God of War. I'm not first on that type of game anymore. I don't like feeling like it's playing super linear games that have like quick time events and just long cutscenes. I don't know. Like I've said this to you yesterday. It's like if you ask someone what's the most important part of a video game, and they say the story or the plot, then they obviously not real gamers as far as I'm concerned, because that should be like the least important thing. That should be the cherry on the top. Gameplay is the most important thing when it comes to games, as far as I'm concerned. I would rather play Vampire Survivors, even though it looks basic as hell. I'd rather play that than play God of War Ragnarok at this moment in time, because I just not first. I was like, I play God of War. Not to say that God of War is a bad game. I just don't. It's not. I don't know. It's not my cup of tea at the moment. I'm not in the mood for a 25-hour game where it's just solve a puzzle by throwing a hammer, get it stuck in a log, and then freeze another hammer, throw your hammer to finish the puzzle, then have an argument with your son, then walk for ages, hack and slash, do the same hack and slash fighting as the last game, and then rinse and repeat, and that's for 25 hours the same three things. Talk to your son and him whinge, do a puzzle, fight, and then rinse repeat. That's literally the whole game. That was like 2018, and I enjoyed it.
I think you're pretty much regurgitating on a lot more things, because you mentioned about the same flaws over again. But I think, to me, like, if I have my say on it,
go ahead.
If I had a PlayStation, I would have easily went for God of War. But I think the thing is, it's just more of a narrative experience than the gameplay thing. But I think if there's one thing that I would really adore about the series, is to do with the story. And I think there's lots of surprising elements that I would have really enjoyed the game for. But even so, it's just like, if it's for the gameplay, not so much. But if it's about the story, then you would most definitely enjoy it. And I would definitely say that. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I've said bad things about it, but I will be buying it at Christmas, and I will be playing it at Christmas time. I just, at this moment in time, I'm not sold. Oh, my light's gone. Cool. I think on that note, we should probably end the episode, because my light's just gone off, and I can't see.
It's time for bed, boy.
The light's just gone. I've had enough. Go bed now. So that's the Game Awards.
My stomach's rumbling anyway, so I
need to get some food. That. Yeah, that's a good idea. Right, well, so thank you guys for watching. What do you guys think of the Game Awards? Let us know in the comments below who you think should win Game of the Year. Are you playing God of War Ragnarok? Do you think I'm being unreasonable? Do you agree with me when it comes to Elden Ring and all that? Let me know in the comments below. Are you going to play Vampire Survivors? You should. It's brilliant.
I will be playing more of it tonight, as well as probably dipping my fingers into other games. But then I think the chances are that both of us will be playing that to death, but who knows? Yeah.
Well, literally as soon as this podcast finishes, I'm going back to finish my game, because I was halfway through a level, so I'm going to come finish my game off.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, thank you guys for watching, and until next time, too sweet. Vampire Survivors! Yeah! Thank you for listening to the X Marks the Box podcast. Follow us at xmarksbox on Twitter or X Marks the Box on YouTube. And follow us on all audio podcast services. Thanks for listening.